I am very excited, and not just because it's finally spring now and I can go outside without freezing my fingers off, but because the package that I sent from Japan, however many months ago when I was back there, has finally arrived, and I've got some cool stuff in there that I want to talk about. So, I got a few cool things from Japan. One being this camera here, this EOS 55 that I got for 1800 yen, which is like 18 bucks I think. Gundams from the actual Gundam base in Tokyo. But the thing I wanted to talk the most about was these things. So within this bag is a very old collection of photographs. I was walking around a market when I was in Tokyo. I was looking for all sorts of stuff, old cameras, old whatever I could find. And I came across this guy who just had boxes and boxes and boxes of negatives and photographs and all sorts of things. So I was rummaging through all this stuff. There was VHS, there was Super 8 films, there was color slides, there was film negatives, there was like black and white 120 negatives. It seemed to be from all sorts of different people on all sorts of different adventures all around, presumably Japan. I followed this Instagram account called Photo Beach Combing. And what this person does is goes to markets, goes to old stores all around Japan, finds, collects and archives all of these really old photographs. So when I saw a bunch of photographs, a bunch of negatives sitting in boxes with random families, random stories just sort of left to rot away and gather dust, I got a little bit excited. I figured I would just grab a handful of the oldest looking photographs I could find there. And so today I wanted to talk about what is inside here, because I think it's pretty cool. So I went on a mission to digitize and archive all of these photos. I spent a bunch of time scanning all of the photos that were already printed. For the negatives, I didn't quite have access to that myself. So I went over to a photo lab in Seoul called Gore Studio, which lets you self-scan your own film negatives. So I rocked up with these bad boys and said, hey, I want to use your 120 scanner. Gimme. Oh, they're little contact sheets. It's cute. I put this on the wrong hand. Should have put it on.
That's the fancy part.
I did a bunch of scanning at home at the studio, got everything scanned. So let's have a look at what is inside this plastic bag full of random old photographs that I found at a flea market in Japan. So there's a lot going on here and a lot of different characters that feature. So the most notable character is this boy who is on the biggest picture, and he pops up quite often, getting older, and these much younger photos could also be him, but I am not entirely sure. There's also a bunch of photos here from a trip to a zoo of some description. There's also in the negatives, there's a bunch more photos of a zoo, like an amusement park kind of thing. And there's also this girl here, who I'm assuming is the one with the fabulous bowl cut in all of these photos. She doesn't appear as much. This is a kind of neat picture with a big old snowman. There seems to be here photos of some kind of ceremony. I don't know if it's a wedding. I don't know if someone knows more about traditional Japanese dress, then maybe they could point me in the right direction of what this ceremony might be. And a bunch of other cute little images that I think are quite sweet, that all seem to come from the same family, or at least most of them. Now, with my very janky lightbox made, we have a lot more here of portraits of older people. Mostly this one woman here who is holding papers and something, like she's graduating perhaps, I'm not sure. But you got parents or aunties or a lot of family, so they really went to town with the family photo shoot here. This here was a roll that I quite enjoyed looking at. So here we've got some portraits. That looks like the bowl cut girl from before, and this looks like the kid from before. And here they are at a fair or an amusement park or something. This is where I assume the zoo photos came from as well. This one's really cool. He's in front of a big sign that says Funhouse. There's a photo here of potentially what could be a father. I'm not entirely sure. And in this one, there was a little bit less, but just a few more portraits of, again, the girl, this woman with her papers, family pictures, and this one of the kid being strong as hell lifting up this rock. Now, there's not a lot of contextual clues with these photos as to where they came from when they were dated and stuff. But to my absolute joy, I found these two images that had writing on the back of them, which was very, very exciting because that might give me the context I need to find out where and when these photos are from. And so I took to Instagram and said, hey, does anyone speak Japanese? I would love to know what it says on these photos. And I actually got a few responses. So for this photograph here of this boy, apparently the translation says, my son, Kodak Vest, Yokohama branch, work department, Toshikazu Inouye. I could be pronouncing that wrong. And for this photograph here, it says 5th of October, 1963, shower period, 38th. Third year of primary school, celebration of 1 week from recovery. If you know Japanese and have a better translation of this, let me know. But we had a date, 1963, 5th of October, which is cool, very cool. I was very excited when one of these photos actually had a date on them, because if we're assuming all of these photos are together in the same collection, that gives us a time and a place, Yokohama 1963, which makes these photos 60 years old. And I thought that was pretty cool because now we had a little bit of context, and I was geeking out a little bit because I just think it's super interesting wondering, you know, what happened to these kids, what happened to this boy, why did all of these photos from like a scrapbook of photographs end up in a box in a flea market being sold for like cents a piece. And yeah, so now these photographs will live forever now on the internet. It feels a little bit disappointing to only take like a quarter of the stash. It was way too much stuff to take home just by myself, so I just grabbed a handful. It feels kind of disappointing. I'm separating all of these memories from the original source, so I'm not sure how I feel about that. But they were being sold, so clearly they don't mean anything to anyone that knows their whereabouts anymore. So the least I can do is to scan these photos and help this kid live forever, instead of in a dusty old box being forgotten. So it's okay. This dude's old now. He can fight me if he wants to. That's it. If you want to see the photos, I will post them on my Instagram, as I do all the photos that I take on this channel. Thank you very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed looking at these old photos with me. Anyway, let me know what you think or whatever. Okay, have a good day. Goodbye.